I read Johanna Schoen's book called Abortion After Roe. The book teaches its readers many things about the effect that Roe v. Wade had on society after its Supreme Court decision. The first immediate factor that the case impacted was the safety and the whereabouts of abortions. Instead of women going to receive back alley abortions from mothers who might not even know what they were doing, women were now able to have the procedure in a hospital or clinic. Back alley abortions created many medical problems for women, and even took the lives of thousands of women every year due to botched procedure. Legislation has made abortion into the safest and most widely performed surgical procedure in the United States, as stated by Schoen. Legalizing the procedure allowed citizens to start clinics and hospitals for abortions, making it more accessible to women. Before Roe v. Wade, women had to ask around and have others reference them to doctors who may or may not have a medical license, let alone the knowledge of how to make an abortion safe for their patient. This was no longer the case after hospitals and trained professionals were allowed to complete abortions without fear of penalization. In the new era after Roe, women became more involved in hospitals and clinics that provided abortions. They were able to feel empowered in the treatment of patients and their increasing role in society. Feminist women of the time saw their world as patriarchal and paternalistic. They felt inspired by the emerging women's movement and were frustrated with traditional medical care that was dominated by men. They then looked to the field of abortion care as an opportunity to shape a more feminist future in medicine. This allowed an opportunity for women to start to take control of their health and bodies. The topic of abortions also became one of the most taboo subjects in society. Women were shamed into believing that everyone would judge them for the decision that they had made, and were hushed into not discussing any positive experiences from the process. The unspoken rule of being silent about a person's positive abortion experience made people hate it even more, since the positive side was never publicly shown. Only horrible stories from those who had bad experiences were told and exploited by people that believed that abortions were wrong. This societal rule of being silent is being stripped away one person at a time by women who are sharing their stories. But while legal abortion centers grew, so did people's views about it. Not only did the topic become taboo, but also a huge political topic. Two stances were established in the fight over abortion: pro-life and pro-choice. One half, pro-lifers, believed it was wrong to have an abortion, that it killed human beings, and some even brought their religious views into the mix by declaring it against their God. These people often protest outside of abortion centers. They harass patients and staff at centers. Instances of harassment were seen in many accounts by Schoen. The other, pro-choice, believed that it was a woman's place to decide what she did with her body, and the laws should not dictate that. They stood by the ruling of Roe v. Wade. As you can see in the background, there's a picture of a political cartoon of two rams that are in a headlock with each other. This is to show how political abortion has become and the two sides that erupted. Overall, Schoen's argument throughout the book is that abortion has changed drastically after legislation. It has become safer and gained higher accessibility, along with the procedure becoming highly politicized. To prove her many points about the time after Roe, the author uses sources from people that had received an abortion before it was legal, others while it was legal, accounts of citizens that had worked in the abortion industry, people who had created clinics for abortions after its legalization, and anti-abortion advocates. Other sources also included newspapers, anti-abortion literature, and studies from universities. All of Schoen's accounts tell the stories of real people who had been affected by this widely performed medical procedure and the legislation that made it possible to become safe and a highly debated topic. She uses her sources to tell the story of these people and what they went through, along with showing the similarities and differences in abortions, and society's notions about it before and after Roe v. Wade. In these, the author is able to show the effects of legislation on the procedure completely. The book also thoroughly explains the different types of abortions and backs up her argument with a plethora of quality evidence. The strength of her evidence lies in the fact that they are real accounts from people, and that Schoen does not only use people that are pro-choice, but people that are against abortion as well. This is a convincing book due to her choice to use both sides in her accounts, and a very interesting piece at that. To truly understand the history of women's reproductive rights and the way society was changed by the landmark case Roe v. Wade, a person should read this book. It contrasted the past with the present very well, and effectively through the first-person accounts the author has compiled. I would recommend this book to others, especially those who need to understand the good that legalizing abortion has done, and to see how it was made into a political topic. Overall, I enjoyed it and thought it was a very good read. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.